IT&E doing presentations, we can have the executive director show up after a few minutes or so. So the time now is 9:41, and I'd like to call this meeting of the Public Utilities Commission to order on this May 15th, 2026 at 9:30 a.m. Well, actually, we're calling it to order 9:41 at the CPUC office located in the Business Plaza, Mariana's Business Plaza, Suite 702 in Suzuki Saipan. So at this time, I'll ask the Commissioner's Secretary to call the roll.
Roll call for business meeting dated May 15, 2026. Commissioner Angelo.
Here.
Commissioner Mendiola.
Here.
Commissioner Kiduwe. Is not present. Commissioner Cabacho is here. Ex-official member Narita is absent. Acting chair. We have 3 commissioners present. We have established a meeting quorum. And I just also want to take the time to acknowledge the presence of our CPUC consultant on Zoom, Dr. Hellman, our legal counsel, Mr. Cyrock, and I also noticed the IT&E management's here and Docomo's management's here. The presence of Senator Magofnia. Thank you. And we have CUC present.
Bruce, I see that Oscar just came on.
Oh, okay. Commissioner Kiduwe, are you present? Commissioner
Oscar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ungan?
Ungan.
Okay.
Correction.
I'm here.
Correction, acting chair. We have 4 commissioners present. And we have a quorum.
He's through the teleconference.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Secretary. We'll now move to item 3, the adoption of the agenda. Any discussion?
No.
I have 2 amendments for the agenda under item 8, new business. Somehow the camera-ready agenda was sent to Mariana's Variety. It had a misprint. So under new business, item A, I'm going to add the explanation of the CPUC quorum for the month of April. And then item B, which is A on this latest agenda that's it's outside, that was ready for pickup, would be the CUC procurement filing number P062026, ratification of the mobile oil fuel contract. Are there any discussion about those 2 additions?
No.
Okay, then they will be added under item 8A and B. Motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll second it.
Move.
Vote.
Aye.
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 Okay. Motion carried, and these 2 items will be later discussed. Under the adoption of the minutes for March 13th and May 4th, they're in the process of being transcribed. There are some delays in the transcribing of these from the recordings, technical reasons with the power outages and et cetera. So they're in the making, and you'll see them in the near future. Any other discussion on the adoption of the minutes of the meeting?
None.
No discussion then, okay. Number 5, correspondence. Any commissioners have any correspondence that they received they want to advise the commission and the members present?
None.
I would just say that I received a series of emails. One when I was off island on April 18th from Mr. Ernest. And then when I got back on April 28th, I received a filing of the procurement P062026, and then another was a motion for an earlier motion about net metering from Mr. Ernest. And then we received a fact message from our consultant. I received about confirming the actual expiration date of the mobile fuel contract. Other than that, there were no other pieces of correspondence that I received. Any other correspondence? None? Okay, then next item is public comments. We invite now the public to comment on parts of the agenda that they so desire, and we welcome the public's comments, and please go to the podium and okay, Mr. Benson's traveling that direction. Introduce yourself.
Yes, is this on?
Hit the button.
No, it wasn't.
It takes a second.
No, it is, there we go.
There you go.
There it is. Del Benson, one of the things I do want to commend, it looks like the broadband's going forward. I do have a question I know that won't be answered, but I read the article, and it sounds like it's a grant that's going to be connecting to IT&E. I'm sure that many people think that it's going to be free broadband for everyone. I question that, and I think that's something that should be clarified, the potential cost that it will incur to individual users, number one. You're going to be talking about the solar panel contract again.
You know, I've been doing more of my research, and I think a lot of our people are not aware what's involved in this. For every, if you have a backup system, I'm just going to throw a few things, different points. If it's supposedly going to be a 60 megawatt system. To be able to produce that during the peak hours, we only get an average of 6 hours a day throughout the year because we have so much cloud cover. So the efficiency goes down. The loss in actual transmission to batteries is only 85 to 90%. If you have a backup system and you want an hour of backup, then that's 60 megawatts would have to be able to be produced 60 megawatts per hour for 0 to an hour. So when you have a half day cloudy and you have a base load that you're drawing from, you're not going to have near as much power as you think. And the backups are only going to provide as much as can be recharged when they're not being base load. So I believe if it was looked at closely, there's going to be a lot more reliance on CUC power from the diesel generators than we think that the magic of the sun is going to produce all our solutions. And I still go back to the base. It will not. It will cost us more. And it bothers me when I hear that CUC officially has stated that we're looking into other things. We're looking into geothermal and nuclear. Well, I think that's flat out not true, because they're wanting to push through and go through with this 20-year contract. So why would you be looking at other things? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And so again, I'm out again to go against this long-term commitment that will financially cripple us when other options a few years down the road might be available. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Benson. Anyone else wish to make a comment?
Hi, good morning. Good morning, Chairperson and the members of the board. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Steve Jang. I represent the small business as a small business owner.
Say again, please.
My name is Steve Jang. I represent the small business. I own a small
Okay.
business.
Small business.
I would like to respectfully remind everyone that utilities are not simply the services. They are the foundation of public safety, public health, economic survival, and community stability in the Commonwealth of Northern Mariana Islands. Electricity is essential to every part of the Saipan. Without reliable power, business cannot operate. Restaurants cannot preserve food. Medical facilities cannot function properly. Families suffer in unsafe and unhealthy conditions. Students cannot study efficiently or effectively. Tourism declines. Employees lose income. And confidence in our island economy weakens. For many businesses, especially small and family-owned businesses, every day without electricity create financial losses that may never be recovered. Some businesses are already struggling with the rising costs, workforce shortages, and post-disaster recovery. Reliable utility service is not a luxury, it is a lifeline. Utility also affects public trust. The people of Saipan expect fairness, transparency, accountability, and consistency in how the decisions are made, especially during emergencies and recovery operations. When communication is inconsistent or when customers receive conflicting information, it creates confusion and frustration within our community. I respectfully encourage the board to continue focusing on faster and more coordinated restoration efforts, clear communication with the public, equal treatment for all customers and districts, long-term infrastructure and modernization, preventative maintenance and grid resilience, renewable and backup energy solutions, and stronger emergency preparedness planning. This is not only about restoring power lines. It is about restoring confidence in our institution and protecting the economy for the economic future of Saipan. Businesses, residents, first responders, healthcare providers, and visitors all depend on the utility system every hour of every day. A strong utility system strengthens the entire community. I appreciate the difficult work performed by line crews, engineers, operators, and the management during challenging conditions. At the same time, constructive public feedback is important because accountability and improvement help build a stronger and more resilient CNMI. Thank you for your time and your service and your attention to the concerns of the community. Again, my name is Steve Jan. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chango. Pretty open and honest remarks, and I know we take them seriously and try our best to improve the status of the CNMI with the cooperation with all the agencies and with us that we continue our push for a faster recovery, but not at the expense of any personnel or at the expense of the danger involved and the fact of supplies being limited. So again, I know a lot of people are suffering out in the community, and I feel for them, and I hope that we do come to a close to this chapter. It's the third super typhoon in 8 years. I think it set some type of record. I've been through all of them except this one. I was off island, but I came back because of the urgency after the strike. And then for me, after being here 47 years, I just wish God would turn them more south, below Guam, to tell you the truth. They seem to be taking right turns right when they near Guam and hit us, and it's unfortunate, but Saipan always seems to recover with the strength of its people and its leaders. So again, appreciate your comments. Anybody else would like to make comments? No further public comments. Oscar, did you say something? Commissioner?
So far, this is for the public comments, or?
Yeah, we're just finishing the public comments.
Okay.
We're going into,
You want me to say something for the public comments?
oh,
If you're done, then I have nothing to say.
well, if you want to say something now or later when we get to the agenda, go for it.
Okay. So far, I would just like to finish it. We were pretty much stable in our own power situation. We have minor situation, and they spoke to it and finished it. We're not pretty much at damage. So that's Saipan Canadian. And thanks God we have been through our unknown situation for power and water and everything back to normal. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Kitagwa, for, yeah, I'm glad Rhoda came back on fast with the restoration. And I know you're helping Tinian, your fellow outer island, and they got hit pretty badly, and I'm hoping for their speedy recovery. I hear from an interview yesterday that they're receiving help from the military and other agencies to bring in extra megawatts and supplies. So I wish everybody well. So that being said, we'll move on to old business. Number 7, reports from the committees. My report would be from the telecommunications, and I'm going to leave it up to ITNE and Docomo, who are present here, to give the status and update reports and any problems under old business B and C. Any other committee? Commissioner Mendiola, being from Tinian, you being an honorary vice chairman, you want to make any report on the status of your island's recovery?
Not at this moment.
Okay. Commissioner Camacho, any report on the grants?
No, I'm still monitoring the FEMA situations with the CUC and all.
Okay. All right, that'll conclude the Oscar already made comments about Rhoda, and we appreciate those from our commissioner from Rhoda.
Yeah, we have not yet gone down to item C. That I would like that to say, if we were into that,
Oh yeah, I know there.
item number.
Yeah, you have a concern about, and it's been conveyed to ITINI. First, under item B, we'll start off alphabetically with a status update report from the
Okay.
Docomo Pacific.
Okay.
So please,
Now,
Docomo Pacific, you're invited to join the table and give us a status and recovery, any problems about Docomo's system.
Yeah, so for Docomo Pacific, first of all, I want to give our appreciation to all of the businesses in here. I believe ourselves, Docomo, I think CUC, we all serve as first responders, and during this difficult time, I think we are seeing and realizing the combined efforts of all companies coming together to restore and bring back some normalcy as quickly as possible. For Docomo Pacific, just like every other business, we have been impacted as well. We are Brent DeYoung. I'm from Docomo Pacific. I'm the senior brand manager for CMI. For our operations itself, we did sustain some infrastructure damages to our offices, which delayed us from opening up operations immediately after the storm. However, that was quickly addressed. We're fully operational right now. In terms of our neighboring islands, Rhoda was spared for the most part. Our services are 100% up there with mobile network. Our fixed services, which provide home internet, cable TV, and home phone, is above 87% restored. At the moment, Tinian is also at 100% restored with mobile network. Our fixed network there is also being restored. I believe we are at 80% restored with home internet for the residents of Tinian. And so we're pretty lucky there as well. As for Saipan, we are over 97% restored on all of our mobile networks. Around the island, you should have pretty good connection. In areas where you might have spotty data or low service, it is most likely due to power situations or the cell sites being optimized at the moment as restoration continues. So over the next few days and weeks, we should anticipate that the network is going to start to strengthen as well. We are seeing a lot of our cell sites and head-ends starting to go on CUC power. So we're very appreciative of the collaborative effort with CUC as well in restoring all of our critical areas that desperately need to rely on power. As we know, we have multiple cell sites. I'm sure ITINI as well, right? And during this time, we are heavily relying on generators. And so post-typhoon, we quickly deployed all of our generators to the cell sites, targeting first the areas feeding and servicing first responders, government offices, healthcare, hotels that are housing all of the FEMA, Samaritan Purse. Those were our critical areas that we wanted to make sure is up and running so that those who are out in the public, helping the public, have connectivity. We quickly also deployed some supplies and materials to Tinian to ensure that they also have the reliable connectivity that they need there. We know and we understand that Tinian has limited resources. It's difficult to get down there during these times, and so we tried to make sure to prioritize that as well. On our side, we're anticipating, we do have a crew that has flown in from our Guam office, and so We have additional manpower on the grounds here helping with restoration. We are anticipating even more manpower coming in from our Guam office as well as Palau Telecom. So they will be assisting us as well with recovery as they have done so with the past super typhoons. We are continuing to receive more shipments of materials, but just like everyone else, incoming barges and shipment is a little difficult right now. They're going off of priority. And while communications is a priority, power, water, and everything else is also a priority. And so we want to thank everybody for their patience and understanding, and we look forward to continuing to bring up more reliable network and service around the CNMI.
At this time, any questions from the commissioners? Commissioner Mendiola?
Yeah, and excuse my ignorance, because it's hard keeping up with all the news. I understand that 100% mobile is back on Tinian, right? The fixed network is 80% restored for home internet. I think my issue has always been, are people being charged without electricity for home internet, right? And whether there's recourse for certain people that obviously with Tinian having 0% electricity at the moment, right? Everybody working off generators, the concern is whether the consumer is being overcharged for services that they're not receiving or unable to receive without additional cost to their, their household. So that's pretty much, where I want to start off.
Thank you for that question. As our billings start to get deployed, we have made an indication on all of our customer billings that services that are not received for the duration that services are not restored, there will be no charges on that. Additionally, we have also suspended all disconnections for all customers, and so during this difficult time, this is one of the areas that we're focusing on to try and ensure that we're providing as much assistance as we can. And so for customers who may have had trouble or difficulty paying, we encourage them to come into our store, give us a brief notice. All disconnections have been suspended. So we don't anticipate any of our customers having to deal with any suspensions from past due billings. That has also been announced on our social media platforms, and so we do encourage everyone to follow our pages, and also it is being shared on the media. Yeah.
You can send them to us.
Yeah, we can send it over to you.
And I think for the question for a lot of people on Tinian is obviously, with one small office and one person manning it, it's a bit difficult to get response for certain issues that they come up with. Are the site-man helplines also helping with billings and things of that nature?
Correct, yes. So we do have a 24/7 customer care hotline. The number is 670-488-CARE. That is 2273. Our call center is 24 hours. And everyone from Saipan, Tinian, and Rhoda is welcome to contact us there should they not be able to head over to our stores during the operational hours. I believe also on our doors on Tinian, our rep's contact info is posted there. Feel free to contact her as well. We stay in close communication with her, and so if there's anything that we can alleviate from her end, we do so with the manpower that we have here.
And it's a pretty straightforward process for example, home internet service. If there's no throughput for the internet, then they would just say, look, I don't have any throughput, so you can't charge me, and then that would be enough to serve to
Correct.
move. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Our mobile network personnel there in Tinian is also conducting his own site surveys for all of our customers who have home internet services with us, right? And so for the most part, customers will not be charged until our personnel is able to verify and clarify that services are up and that the residents in the home has also confirmed that services are restored.
And sorry, last question. So that they would be able to maybe dispute prorated, obviously since the typhoon came, in
Yeah.
the second week of April, they'll be able to
So we highly encourage, we always have the customer care hotline available, but we highly encourage them to visit us in store, just give us a brief overview, right, of what they need assistance with. We have multiple options and alternatives for customers who may need additional services, who may need anything else in backup, and so if available, please visit us in store.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Anyone?
Mayor?
Question? Sure.
Thank you. Hi. Senator Karina here. So I appreciate the kind gesture of Docomo not charging for the month of typhoon. But if I may recommend, is it possible for Docomo to just apply the adjustment, the prorated adjustment across the board? And I'm speaking on behalf of the monomcus, right? Because a lot of our monomcus are not attuned to these types of services that you guys are providing, the discounts. So if I may just recommend, please, for Docomo to consider applying the prorated adjustment across the board so that our monomcus don't have to call in and dispute, the charges. It's just that, it's just something that I would like to share if that's possible.
Thank you, Senator. Just to clarify as well, the credits that will be applied for all of the services that have not been restored is and will be applied generally, and so customers should start to see that reflected on their bill. On our billing, on the first page, there's a little box there in the bottom with instructions on what to expect. Should customers see a charge for services that are not restored, we want them to rest assured that they will not be responsible for those charges. That is another reason why we're encouraging customers to contact us or visit us in store if able to. However, the credits that will be applied for services that we are aware that are not restored yet will be automatically applied to the customer billing. But the reason for the visit or contacting us is because we understand that maybe you might have some questions as to these credits may not be enough because you're being prorated for a date that is generally set on our end. However, you may not have had services further or beyond that. Those are one of the reasons why we are encouraging customers to come in. You may need additional assistance that we'll be able to provide you.
If I may, sorry. So, I understand what you're saying, but I've visited many and a lot of them have car damages that aren't able to leave their homes, let alone go to the post office and pick up their mail to see the bill, read the bill, see the number, call the number, go into the store to, so as just a standardized practice across the board, if we can just assist them with that, because again, many don't have transportation to get to these places, and so for them to even see the bill and read what's on the bill and then call your office or come into the store, again, that's just another burden or hardship or challenge that they are facing right now. So to just make it easy on everyone for this time period, if we could just assist them with that type of service.
Yeah. So the credit will be applied on the bill. You should see it well, and so I hope that clarifies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we have two questions from Commissioner Camacho.
Yeah, the first one, could you the percentages per item?
Okay. For Tinian, we are at 100% on mobile services. I believe we're at 80% for home internet that is actively being restored at the moment. For Rhoda, we are at 100% on mobile services. We are at 90% for home internet, cable TV, and home phone. And for Saipan, we are at 97% restored on mobile services. And on fixed services, we are at 40% with the materials and supplies just arriving yesterday. Restoration is going to quickly start being done.
My second question is do you guys have any challenges with FEMA right now, like with reimbursements and like FEMA gonna cover like your down lines and stuff that you need for like home internet or your antennas that were damaged from the storm?
Not necessarily. We have not had any discussions with FEMA on reimbursements or the opportunity of them reimbursing us for any of the down towers or whatnot. In the immediate time right now, those are all being covered by us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Docomo? I thank Docomo for appearing today, and I wish you well in your recovery. And any assistance we can offer, don't hesitate. I do appreciate you guys out in the field. I see them working steadily, and thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, you can leave Docomo if you want to get back to your work. I know you probably have pressing issues.
Yeah.
And next up, we have under item 7C. Excuse me, I have a cataract condition and it's getting worse. Anyway, 7C IT&E update status. Report, any problems? I want to open up by congratulating you on your contract signing the other day, and I wish you well in this project. So now, it's your turn. Commissioner Kitagawa, did you have something to say?
Yes, just a small reminder. I try to figure out that IT&E still need to remind them to upgrade their office.
Yeah, well,
And sometimes there is a problem in terms of technical problems that we need someone there that is
You broke up.
open office, because the offices and they have not been given service. Only one guy there that worked without an office space. So having to make payment if you have
Commissioner,
employees.
yeah, you're breaking up.
They have a small office there just to receive for payment.
Commissioner, we're gonna have IT&E give a status update, and I mentioned to them that they would be discussing any problems on Tinian and Rhoda, and after they explain their position and come back and have further questions, okay?
I have not seen any representative from them, and we need to do something for this one.
Well,
Seems like we've been
Yeah, they're here,
abandoned.
they're here now, Commissioner
Sorry to
Padilla.
say that.
We're here now to explain, and then we'll get back to you. If you have any other concerns, you're welcome to bring them up, because we want to make sure Rhoda, like Tinian,
Okay.
gets full service. Okay, IT&E?
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Good morning. I'm Docomo Pacific, Senior Director of IT&E, CNMI, and with me is Janice Tenorio, our Senior Manager for Customer Service and Government Relations. So to provide an update for our services, like everybody else, we continue to restore. We are in a restoration mode, and like everybody, we are all impacted with the unavailability of commercial power. But now, since some of the locations have been up with CUC power, we have some sites. I'm happy to report that we have about 11 cell sites up on commercial power at this time. So
let me just go first. IT&E provides our internet service and landline services. And so all our central offices, that's where all the main services come out. So we have seven central offices, and in Saipan, we have 3 that are already on commercial power. And for our landline services, internet services, we are at 100%. However, people will not be able to receive service, of course, if they don't have power to their homes or generators. Their landlines will be available. For the wireless side, in the CNMI, we have 3 sites that were damaged, and so we have about 98% coverage of the islands for Saipan. The only area that we don't have coverage are up north, mainly like Suicide Cliff and that Marpi area. So those are the 2 sites. What we've done is, although we have sites that are down and have been impacted, our team have put up a temporary, antenna to see if we can serve that area in Saipan or that location, like, for example, Kagman. And as Docomo had mentioned, that there may be spotty locations. It may be due to power. Right now, we have our teams who continually work since the day of the typhoon, or April 13. It's been a month already. We have teams that are working 24/7 just to refill our generators to ensure that the generators are fueled so that people can have some service, either with our mobile, because that's what everybody is highly dependent on, is the mobile services. And for Tinian, we are more impacted there. For our fixed or internet service, landline services, we are at 100% again, but people won't be able to utilize that if they don't have generators or commercial power. Our central office, we had to get assistance from FEMA for a generator to serve our Tinian central office, because both our generators had issues. And so we have 2 generators there. We had both had suffered, and one we were waiting for a part, and then we have a battery backup. However, we just we thank the government, the governor, and FEMA that supported us, because that is the lifeline for communications for Tinian. So at least in our end. So if that central office did not have that generator right now, people won't have landline services or internet services or even mobile services. So that was our the most critical for us at IT&E. For Tinian, we have about two sites that were impacted. So we are not 100% on the wireless side, the mobile site there. So our team are trying to figure out a way to provide some temporary services to the Marpo Heights, or is that Marpo Heights area, that residential area. So that area is a little bit spotty from the Tinian side. For Rhoda, everybody's on commercial power. Our offices are commercial power, so we are at 100% in Rhoda. So that's So as we continue to work with CUC, I know we are working with them closely just to see where what locations are being energized. So we are asking to see if there's some of our cell sites are that could be energized as well, just to relieve some of our generators. And again, we've continued to do our part. We've brought in generators just so that we can change out the existing generators that have been running 24/7 at our locations. We've we've ordered some cellular on wheels just to see, hoping that they can come as soon as they can, just so we can provide temporary services to other areas that are impacted. And like Docomo, I will let Jan mention what we've done. We are adjusting customer billing for those people who have no internet services. We can tell who does not have any internet service. So basically, who does not have generator or some sort of power. So we are doing adjustments. We are also deferring payments, suspending disconnections and all that, and not charging any late fees. So we also offer our customers or any residents that if they don't have any internet service, also we are providing them with MiFis or mobile services just to help them in the meantime. And Jan, would you like to add more?
Thank you. And added to the services that we provide, the store is open from 8 to 5. And right after the typhoon, we open even on Sunday to provide that. And we also have a charging station outside our Oleai store. And as Ms. Velma mentioned, we have also prolong or do not charge for late fee and suspend the suspension and disconnection for services for all customers, including the businesses. Okay. And we have a 24/7 also call center that customers can be calling in and inform us of whatever that they need and whatnot, and then we would serve them through online. They don't need to come into the store. They can just call also. We also did a pop-up tent at the community center in Tacmang. That's in collaboration with Congressman Camacho, and also a collaboration with the governor's office over at the multi-purpose center. So that pop-up store was able to give us and give the customer opportunity to walk up there, because a lot of homes are damages also. So they would come in and inform us, and then we would process their adjustments. So all customers that are have landlines and home internet does not have power or generator will be adjusted accordingly, and that will reflect also on their upcoming billings.
Okay.
Same goes for Tinian. Yeah.
Thank you. I have two items I'd like to mention. I've heard reports from our islands. My previous boss, rest in peace, Governor Tenorio, he always reminded me that the CNMI included Tinian and Rhoda. Sometimes that's sort of not forgotten, but there were three major islands here, Saipan being the largest. And on Rhoda, I hear like the office is for IT basically shut down. There's nobody there to assist any of the people with technical or any questions. And also on Tinian, I believe it's every other week, possibly there's service. Or can that be corrected for the sake of the people of Tinian and Rhoda? If you reply to that, then I'll let the commissioners ask you questions.
I can clarify.
Okay.
For Rhoda, we have is it Safeway that we do accept payments at Safeway for all payments, and then we do have a representative on. He's actually mobile, going around on the island, assisting customers, and that's Bill Pendergrass. And what the customers do is that they call into the call center, we refer them to William, and then William does site visits to the island of Rhoda.
But you have no fixed office or building place where people would know to go there instead of, like calling and trying to find this man?
No physical store over on Rhoda.
Do you have any plan to do that?
We can,
Yeah,
we'll look into it.
Yes, we'll look into that,
Yes.
yeah.
I'll let Commissioner from Rhoda then ask any question, and I'll go to Commissioner Mendiola about Tinian and their situation.
Sure.
Commissioner Kiddo, any questions for IT&E other than what I mentioned about their lack of office space or place to let the people on Rhoda, especially the Monamco, like our own commissioner, at times we have to depend on him with our telecommunication system. And his cell phone was out of service and he couldn't get any technical help. And so that's a concern for us. And when that came up, I wanted to find out. And so Oscar, any question you want to ask of the IT people that are here?
I believe I can remain myself and wait and see what will be the actual opening of the office. I cannot say anymore. I'm done with it. Thank you.
That's very well put and succinct, Oscar. The commissioner basically wants action, and I do hope that IT&E seriously considers placing an office there for the people of Rhoda. Rhoda is having rough times, like Tinian and even Saipan economically, and the phone is very important for people, communications, family, you know how it is. And I think talk to management and encourage them to establish a place, give one of the Rocanese a job. I think you just signed a $30 million grant or bill or contract, and maybe that could be squeezed in. But I do believe there should be an actual place they can go and get some comfort. We talk to somebody in an office. Okay?
If I further clarify, Commissioner Sanchez,
Yes.
for Rhoda, we do have William Pendergrass, as I mentioned. He's our representative on island.
William Pendergrass?
Yes, Pendergrass. He's William Jr.
Does he drive around? That's his
Yes,
office?
he does drive around, and
He has two locations.
He has
We have
two-
two locations.
two
We have two
locations.
offices, yes.
You have two offices on
Yes, central
Rhoda?
office, yes.
it's a central office on Rhoda.
On Rhoda.
Yes, on Rhoda.
Yeah, and since the ITNE has 24/7, 24 hours call center too, he is able to communicate with the customer. I will have Mr. Pendergrass get a hold of the commissioner from Rhoda so he can be assisted.
Is there somebody in that office during the day, or is it just when he drives in and stops by and leaves to assist somebody? You follow? Is there
Yes.
somebody physically there in the office all during the day?
No,
Not
yes,
all the
talk about 8 hours, no.
That's an excellent,
Yes.
sorry to interdict, I think Chairman, that's an excellent question. And I vouch for that one too.
Yeah.
We need someone to man the office and on a daily basis, not only for Monday up to Wednesday. It has to be from Monday to Friday. We are, very much disappointed in having this kind of situation. It's a very simple thing that we can do it. I don't know what's the hang loose that hang up things that office is not instantly there. It's an office space that needs someone to be worked with in case of troublesome. I believe that we should have an office. It's not a crowded or being bombarded into store office business of themselves. We need to identify it. It used to be a good office, but I don't know now. I'm very surprised about this. I think we need to have and do something because there are other people, technical people, there are other regular people that needs assistance with, and mostly like you say, that the senior citizens do need to have and being helped with. I'm not trying to do it or overrule some of their daily business, but the thing is, we need to have this cordial business atmosphere, not just the shout out for nothing. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank
Could
you.
I have a date that you could get back to our commission with your decision, like your plan for Rhoda?
Sure.
Within,
Well, I can't answer that, but just to put that also, yes, a lot of these things, like everybody else, right, it is always a business decision. So we will take that in consideration, and I understand everybody's concern that having, the office man 8 hours a day. I'm just,
but how long would it take to come up with an answer from your upper management? A week, 2 weeks?
oh, I don't know. You mean an answer to provide an additional
Office
staff
space?
or office
Yeah.
space?
Yeah.
I'm not, maybe at our at your next meeting, because,
About a month.
yeah.
Yeah. A
When
month.
do you plan to meet with your management about this situation?
Maybe next week.
A day from now, 2 days?
Yeah, probably, probably a day or
You
two.
might have an answer within a week?
Yes.
That you could just report back to us by email?
Yeah. We can just provide just some information. I'm just saying it's not gonna
Yeah,
happen
yes,
overnight.
no,
Yes,
maybe,
yes,
something,
yes, we'll get back to you. Yes.
I want to give hope for Rhoda and the people there.
Mhm.
Again, I appreciate any help you can give to the people of Rhoda. Now we turn to Tinian. Commissioner Mendiola, could you elaborate on some of the situation there for the IT&E?
Sure. I can share. I think from my perspective, I understand, right? It's a business. And you look at how many customers you have on TV and Rhoda and Saipan, and you make a decision what is
The hours.
effective for operations and your profits. I think where my concern is, for certain businesses, it's quite important. Communication is a huge factor, right? And certain business decisions should be weighed or counterweighed with certain services that should be provided to everyone. Saipan exists as a hub for economic activity for the CNY. Nobody can deny that, right? If you profit from the activity on Saipan, then it just goes to reason that that service should be extended to the outer islands, right? And that's why I'm trying to kind of urge IT, because obviously you're a private business and you don't publish any kind of information on how many people you serve in terms of the islands, right? Because I didn't find that online. But at the end of the day, you want to provide services as a unified CNMI, especially for something more important like communications, telecommunications. Now, on Tinian, I've had the opportunity to go to the IT&E office, and I was just a little bit confused in terms of when it's open and how often it's open, right? And on a regular business, I understand you're going to be trying to cut hours, availability of hours and things of that nature. But in terms of emergency situations and situations in which we have an urgent need to restore telecommunications, I would assume that IT take a position that you're not only fixing the infrastructure, but you're also serving the people, not through a 24/7 call line, but also in person. Because as the senator had mentioned, there are a lot of people that have issues with communicating through phone lines, right? So that's my hope is for you to really look at it from a one CNMI perspective, making sure that all islands are served properly. And I get it, it's a business decision, but it's a very strong and urgent need for a lot of the people to maintain communications. So with that said, what is the hours for Tinian though? Is it,
Well, it's similar. It's Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But then we kind of got also our store there actually is down. Yeah, and there's no generator too. But we do send our reps down. He does roving too. We'll revisit our
visit, and then I believe also I think we need to do a better job in providing communications or outreach to the Tinian and Rhoda
And Rhoda
residents.
residents.
So I think that's one of the things we can do immediately for
Yes.
that.
Yes.
So
Yeah, there's very little we can do as a CPUC to compel in terms of business operations, but, right, we'd like to urge you and to remind, right, that there's certain islands that have less service, right, and perhaps there should be a more equitable way of approach in terms of customer service.
Yes.
We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
I commend the remarks of Commissioner Mendiola and the fact that we recognize IT as a business and we work at a profit making operation. But I have to include that we can't compel you to do something. We encourage from the standpoint of you provide a very unique service that majority of people here on island are basically addicted to, and that is the phone, the data, the touch to the outside world, the family in the States, all these factors. I could see if you're selling trampolines, you might have a main office here, and this may be a rep go over there once in a while, because that's not a big item, right, that people buy. But everybody seems to have a telephone. And it's very important to their not only physical being of being in touch with other people, but the mental side of it. It's it's hope and comfort to hear from a relative, especially at these times. And I do appreciate that IT&E is up and running. A lot of your system is underground, and even in this building here, when I came back soon after the typhoon hit, the owner ran the generator here $1,000 a day, and I could come in and use the internet here provided by IT&E to do a lot of work. And so again, I urge IT&E to look at both Rhoda and Tinian and maybe spend a few extra bucks on the side of helping people on those outer islands. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate your comments.
Thank you so much.
Okay? So at this point, if you want to head back and have that meeting with your management about Tinian Rhoda,
Yes, yes.
I won't
Thank you.
stop you.
All right, all
Thank you
right.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Under item 7D, we would like we had an update from CUC last Monday, or week on the 4th. That would be Monday before. Math is okay. And they gave a comprehensive report about the status of each island. And including Tinian. I know the media coverage, one covered basically what happened about Saipan. So Commissioner Mendiola, please inform my good friend Don Farrell that that status report did include Tinian. We are concerned about the restoration of Tinian. He said, what about us? And it's a joint effort. CNMI to everybody. Rhoda's been spared a lot of this the devastation, but the concentration, of course, is on Saipan and Tinian. Tinian, I think more so because of the power plant situation, meaning that it was pretty much wiped out. And I guess there's the military's coming in with extra and the IDB, Voice of America. So they're trying their best to get them back on power. So if I could have CUC representatives up at the table. be sitting in that area. Did you sit up?
Oh.
I'll go over to the side, here.
Wherever you want.
Be right over here.
I'm sorry, Mike, could you move over there?
Morning, Executive Director. Madam EDG. Mr. Ernest. Who else? From CUC.
I think it's just us three today.
Just you three.
Everyone else is tied up with recovery efforts.
There was a rumor, Madam AG, that you were climbing poles the other day. Somebody said you were tied up with recovery, and they said maybe you were climbing up the poles. Yeah.
Oh, no, I can't take credit for that. I don't want to take credit for the lineman.
The first item, Mr. Watson, is you did do a good comprehensive report last May 4th. We just wanted a update. I know you made some progress, and all this is for the, well, as a commission, to hear this progress, but also to have the media send out this information to the public, to give them hope that things are coming along okay. I know from an interview you had with the Senate delegation a couple of days ago, there were problems with bringing in poles and equipment, things like that, and that's being sorted out. So if we could have like an update on those points. And anything, like I say, to encourage the people. It's important that this information go out, and we want to have you give this update. And there's not going to be any challenging, just some questions from the commissioners on certain items of clarification. So if you care to proceed, Commissioner Director.
Yeah, 1 minute, I'm gonna try to get
Sure.
Betty to let her know that we're on. Hey, Betty? Yeah, we're starting now. And do we have an update, report on power and water as of today? That you might. Yeah, we didn't get a further update this morning, so it'd be the one we had just email it. Okay. Okay. Which I'll let him know, and then whenever you're free, just try to get on. Yeah, okay, thanks, bye.
I think the main update we'd like to hear is on the manpower situation. I know that was brought up with the Tinian delegation and the arrival of materials, poles, because I know your teams are out there working. It's just that it popped up on a few occasions, the comments of lack of poles, equipment, and accessory items like cross members and conductors and such.
Yeah, we have 55 crew from Guam Power Authority that's been working with our power team here. And
How many's on your power team, Mr. Watson,
I don't have that number.
roughly?
We've got like 6 teams personnel each with bucket trucks, 2 augers. We've also got 2 teams working in Tinian, one that's permanently assigned to Tinian, the other one from Rhoda, because Rhoda's fully restored. So Rhoda we've about 3 weeks ago or more, we mobilized the Rhoda crew to Tinian. They have 2 bucket trucks and a auger and setting poles. They have over 100 poles down in Tinian. We've just signed a contract with Polyphase out of Guam, a company that are made up of retired GPA employees.
Name of that company, sir?
It's Polyphase, right? The name of the company that we just did, isn't it called Polyphase? Polyphase,
Polyphase?
yeah,
Is this a term contract, so many days,
30 days,
30 days?
yeah. And they will be working in Tinian exclusively, and they are bringing 2, I believe 2 bucket trucks to assist, and 2 teams. And we're renting an additional auger that will be deployed in Tinian. When they finish that restoration work in Tinian, the remaining lease of that equipment will be brought to Saipan for use here. And we just received, day before yesterday, a barge carrying supplies from Rhoda that they are providing for the efforts here in Saipan arrived, and it was continued to be brought off the barge yesterday and dispatched to the crews. That consist of some equipment from GPA and some transformers and other hardware for the restoration of the power.
Power lines?
Yeah,
included?
power lines and transformers and
Drop services?
yeah, different, many items. Another barge was supposed to have left yesterday. However, the poles FEMA is providing the transportation, and they had issue with the carrier, the barge, not being able to load the poles on the barge. So they're going to switch to another freight company or barge company.
That would seem frustrating to you, correct?
Do what?
It would seem frustrating to you in your efforts to.
Well, we had an inventory that we were able to maintain and keep going. So the efforts are still progressing, and as you've probably witnessed throughout the Saipan, power is coming on. So and some even traffic lights. So Betty sent me the picture. I forgot to bring the picture of the restored. Is there any way we could share that with? This is a WhatsApp map. This is the current, in the red is currently restored.
You just want to share that with Dr. Angelo?
Yeah.
I think this was publicized on CEC.
It's on the Facebook as well.
Mr. Watson, how many poles are still needed for the island of Saipan and Tinian?
We've been getting additional, let him know where he can pull that up, maybe post up here.
Like
There's at least 300 more concrete poles needed.
for the island of Saipan?
Yeah.
How about
Yeah,
island?
there was 600 plus poles. However, as GPA has been restoring it, and in the Tegman area and from Capitol Hill down on the eastern side of the island, their count is now 1,002. However, they count the poles that are leading as a needed pole. So some of those may be able to be uprighted and still being able to
Embraced
use.
okay.
So I'm reluctant to use that number until we meet and get a definitive number of broken poles. The initial number that our team did was 600 plus wooden poles and about 4 concrete poles that were broken here in Saipan.
So again, currently for Saipan, how many poles estimated that you would need to?
We got some ordered and some on delivery. However, we were notified by the manufacturer of the concrete poles.
The timing issue?
Because it takes like 25 days to cure, and they have a challenge or an issue with not having enough laborers to manufacture the concrete poles. So right now, which reduced that number of concrete poles by about 300 to be able to receive them in the 90 days. So we're reaching out to other vendors to see if they can provide or have in stock concrete poles that meet our standards. We've got very strict standards, stringent here in Saipan to withstand the most powerful super typhoon.
So high stress concrete type poles that.
Yeah. And it's based on the regulations or requirements of 2018.
Now, the other vendor, I know you use Korea as a main vendor.
Yes.
Have you reached out to other places like the Philippines or?
We're reaching out to any known manufacturer of concrete poles.
Because I did just some research in the Philippines. They have some well-known concrete pole for all different types of uses, and
If that's the case, then the staff is reaching out to them.
and I could forward the one that I was looking at is that the process of making the pole is that it's a centrifugal apparatus. You know, they have a mold, and even some power companies make their own molds, and it's just a matter of having the machine to twirl them, because the concrete then flies out to the edges, and it creates that hollow concrete pole. And the prices of the poles that I saw in the Philippines for the high stress, for the high heavy tension lines, they ran about $1,200 to $1,400 a piece. Does that sound?
That sounds very cheap. They're running anywhere from $6,000 to $17,000 each.
6,000 to 7,000.
17.
17,000.
Yes.
Yeah, I know the 300 poles. The quote was for $4 million. That's 13,000, 14,000 a piece.
Yep.
But that's only the one vendor, right, in Korea, that's giving you that quote.
We went with a regular bid to get different quotes, and at the end, it has to meet stringent standards. We don't want to put, concrete poles that don't meet the standards that we require.
But there is progress being made on
Yes.
again, they're only, Korea is making only so many poles a week, and that's will be shipped sporadically.
No, on a regular basis, not sporadically.
Okay.
They've already guaranteed shipments every week, so
How many poles per week, roughly?
about 20.
20?
Yeah.
So we're talking 15 weeks to get 300 poles in?
That was the original. I have to go back and provide you that,
That's
the
close
new
to,
shipment date.
yeah, that's close to 5 months down the line
Yeah.
for all the poles that come in. Yeah, I'd encourage seeking out other vendors that meet your standards.
And to not delay us, we've ordered some wooden poles from the U.S. That we will then go back and change out to concrete
Later.
poles. Yes.
to harden the
Yeah.
system. They're coming out of Mississippi,
I think Virginia,
Virginia.
but I'm not sure, but I think it's Virginia.
They're able to send more than 10 or 20 a week, right?
Oh, we're resending 100 and some at a time.
At a time.
Yeah.
And there'll be just the shipping time from the east coast of U.S. to here.
Yeah.
Talking maybe 2 weeks.
I would say that's a good estimate.
Okay. So things that you feel okay with the movement of the poles now at this point?
They are working on changing the vendor to get those. FEMA is. That's
And in the future, you're already contemplating having an inventory of a certain amount of
Yes.
poles? Because I heard the comment that why spend big bucks for these poles, and they are expensive, and just have them sitting there at the CUC inventory lot doing nothing, when we are surprised by Mother Nature.
we had 100 poles in inventory, and we were also, before the typhoon was even forecasted to hit, we had been working with FEMA on hardening all of our poles.
I think you mentioned that phase.
To change, phase 2.
But the FEMA being
it's
shut
like
down.
$14 million in concrete poles through a FEMA mitigation grant.
But that FEMA shutdown caused a delay.
That had impacted it, so.
Okay.
And then the typhoon definitely impacted even more, so.
And Tinian is moving along. I know you talked to the delegation. Were they satisfied with the progress?
I believe so. We have a team there now to work on the engines. The power plant in Tinian was totally
the roof.
devastated for the roof, the water.
And it's subject to further rains.
Yes,
getting things
and the military is helping do repairs to the roof and the siding to stop the water infiltration of the water getting on the engines and controls. So then are, we've signed another mutual aid agreement with Guam Power Authority, who's going to have their mechanic assist our mechanics to help expedite getting the power plant back up, and if it's possible. And in the meantime, FEMA is shipping 2 engines, diesel engine generators from Hawaii, and working on an agreement with the communications center, who is now owned by the military, to utilize their generators. And
The Voice of America?
yeah, the Voice America generators.
Right.
That is still being worked out, all the contractual obligations. And we have already, our crews for the line have repaired that line, so it's ready to accept the power when the Voice of America generators can come online.
If I could jump to water, you mentioned when we met the other day that Power Station 3 is online,
It was when we were speaking,
supplying 55 wells,
55 wells.
which is improving the water situation throughout a large area, correct?
Correct, but I give you an update on that.
Okay, please.
We have the power being served by our grid now to all of the wells. We were
Great.
able to bring Power 3 offline.
Good.
And so that, all those wells are continuing to pump. We did have to bring them offline for about 2 hours to make that switch over, because they can't switch over live power. We had to bring offline and then hook up the grid power, and that's done. And the water getting throughout all of Saipan. We're still working toward 24-hour service to all. There's still some areas that may only get 12 to 18 hours a day due to leaks in the system that
Sure.
raise the demand for our water.
But I thank you and my body thanks you. I took my first shower this morning I was using buckets of Mando, if you've heard of that product. But anyway, no, I seriously, I appreciate the progress in that area, and having your guys getting these things energized and back online as soon as possible.
Yeah, and you know, they have been, we've had multiple crews the water repairing water line leaks, and they've been repairing on the average of 100 per day. The reason for the multiple and many leaks was trees uprooting and ripping the water lines out of the ground.
How about the air situation? You got the guys working on that? Because I know when water goes off, I shut off all the valves, but then I have to make sure I have one open a little bit, so when the water comes back on, the air can be, come out first.
That's true, and not just in your homes,
on
but
the main lines.
in the main lines. When the air gets in that line, it can block water from
Sure.
going through. So
Yeah.
then our crews have to go to the fire hydrants
Right.
and open up and release the air
It's like bleeding
systematically.
bleeding the lines, like bleeding your grates.
Yes.
It won't work unless the air's out. Okay. Any question from Commissioner Mendiola, since Tinian is a hard-hit area?
No real questions from me. Again, just kind of re-emphasizing what I said in the last meeting. Right? The trust is that you guys know what you're doing, and you're putting utmost effort into getting things back on. I'm not an engineer, nor am I an ops person who knows the context of all of these changes that are happening on. But the most important thing for me is that there's a way of communicating progress that's not being met at the moment, right? And that's the biggest issue. Is that when we come to these meetings and you tell me how many concrete poles and the lag time or the median, you know, the availability of poles, that doesn't translate to me at how progress is being made and what those will actually, how those things will actually affect the timing of when power will come on. And I think for the general consumer, for the normal people like me, that's what we want to hear, right? Like, get an idea of how many poles, great. Get an idea of how many transformers and all of these people putting in mass amounts of hours, which I sincerely appreciate, great. But at the end of the day, what's the progress? How many weeks are we looking at? And I get it, it changes depending on how your ops side is moving. But I think that's the thing that people on Tinian and people on Saipan obviously would like to hear is like, what are the progress? What's the progress? How many more weeks? What are we looking at? More months, right? Things of that nature would be a little bit more helpful for me, right?
Yeah, and, you know, we started having press releases every Friday at 5 o'clock. We've scheduled one today, so we're getting an update to the end of the day, that not only for Saipan, but for Tinian, that we share with all the press and the EOC, the PIO from.
Director Watson, all things being considered and things going smoothly, if that's possible, you have from today a rough estimate on restoration of, say, 80 to 90% of the island?
I will have that information in the press release this evening, because we made tremendous progress yesterday and today, and I don't have that number in front of me. And we're making tremendous progress as we speak.
Thank you. Gives hope to the people.
And I know in last Friday's briefing, our power supervisor, Jonathan Camacho, he stated that it's very likely that Tinian will see 100% restoration before Saipan.
Before Saipan?
Yes.
Remind Don Farrell that. Yeah, for me, it's not a race or anything, Saipan, Tinian. Just as soon as I applaud you if it's getting Tinian, and if we come in a close second, that's all we hope for, because it's a bigger island and we have bigger problems here. But I think you're knocking them off in a steady pace. Initially, I think it was overwhelming, but now I think it's under control. And now you're basically relying on deliveries of equipment, and I believe you have the manpower combined with your teams and GPA. I think they're a good. Only thing, was there ever a consideration of, like, after you two, they brought in a 10-person team from Colorado? They were like hot shots, linemen, and they seemed to be really speedy, and the feds, forked the bill for that. Was that brought up at all?
We did have some different companies given some bids to FEMA. That wasn't the decision they made. It was to use the expertise we have here on the island of Guam and Saipan. They're doing an excellent job. We did bring in a manager from
Boston,
Massachusetts,
right.
And he has done an estimate, and he's made several trips to Tinian, and his projection is that once, now we've got the crew under contract, that all the transmission distribution repairs can be completed in 2 weeks. It's the delay will be the power, re-energizing the power plant.
On Tinian?
Yes, but now we have a path moving forward that we should be able to get that within the similar timeline.
Yeah, with those spare engines coming
Yes.
from Hawaii.
Yeah.
And the power plants here, they seem to be in decent shape, 1, 2, 3, and 4, correct?
They're operational now. We just did routine maintenance on engine 4. And yesterday we had a capacity of about 34, 35 megawatts, and we only have a demand right now of 19. So we have excess power being produced and can be produced than what we can push out into the grid until we make the necessary repairs. And on, there's been some people questioning about, my neighbor I see has power, but I don't. It could be a case that a transformer, it could be the riser damage, it could be the meter. There's several things why one person right next to another may not have power. But I think the main thing is, when I knew, my neighbors up the road had power, that gave me hope that I would soon have power. So.
Yeah, and part of it is in Chinatown, right? It's interesting the way the lines they run. I thought at first Sugar King Road, and then I said the road that runs down into the Golds, but then I drove around and the power actually comes on the other side of Sugar King Park, there by that air conditioning facility, and it comes up to Comedy Road, and it comes across back down to us, then it terminates, and then another line comes from Sugar Cane across over to the Monamco Center in that area. So that's with some discussions. There's people that are in the road when I come and they come up and ask, and I try to explain to them that just because they had power hooked up, I think it was Monamco or next to it, the neighbor across the street didn't. I said, you're on a different line. So I asked them to be patient, and unfortunately your line going that way, there were like 3 poles in a row that were all demolished, wooden poles. And I said that would take time to replace those, and so I always try to give them hope that things are being done, but there are different factors when you look at the system. They think it's all just one straight line that goes in one direction. But
yeah, and now we've got 100% of the primary lines restored, energized,
right.
And the substations.
Yeah.
So now we have the power to the airport. We got power to all the critical facilities. We started with the most critical facility, that was the hospital.
Sure.
To get them, and then we had to start extending to the primary lines and getting a load for the power generator wouldn't surge back and forth and cause it to trip.
Right.
Now all of that's behind us, so that's why we're making more progress faster now. We don't have that risk or as high a risk of causing surges and system trips.
Sure. Any questions, Commissioner Kidabla?
No.
Commissioner Camacho?
Yeah, with the 300 poles, do you also include the ones that are like leaning and like cracked and stuff?
The ones that are leaning will be either replaced or uprighted.
Okay. If, let's say, is there I was sent photos this morning from an individual, and one of the poles, it looked like it was like massive leaning and like cracked and stuff. Is there a number residents can call for?
Customer service,
Okay.
our regular.
Could you provide that number?
It's in the customer service app.
235-0802.
Okay, Keena's looking it up right now.
Okay, so just so people can report.
So,
All right, I believe the general customer service number for Saipan, CUC, is
670-664-4282.
Okay, thank you.
I tried that 664 number and it said no good. The phone book, it lists 235. I don't know if the CUC trouble desk, is it 235 or 664?
It's the 664-4282 number.
It could be both. They use both. I use 235. And I think we covered the main parts, Mr. Watson, and it sounds better today than 2 weeks ago. And I know 4 weeks ago, because we're just about at the 30-day point after the strike. And I appreciate your hard work. I know you're up and too late at night, early morning, and it's not an easy job. I know you're asked by everybody, and whoever comes up to you, where's my power, where's my water, and that's why I like to have these updates and status. And I know you have to go up to the legislature and give updates there, and the governor, and et cetera. And I appreciate you having coming here and making yourself available. And I do understand your staff; they should be out in the field working, and you speak for them, and your management, legal assistant to provide other information. I think we've covered the next item, GenSet update, with what we talked about in this item D, the updated status of the power, water, wastewater. The only other thing would be is it's a monthly thing that we ask is about the GenSet reserve account. Is that being suspended because of the situation by CHC, the payments, or? Yes.
If I could, we spoke about that at the board meeting yesterday, and we were a little unclear, just because I'm very new. I know the GenSet account is set up by resolution of the board, and I know we report it to CPUC all the time. We were hoping that money would be available for recovery efforts, or if we were hoping CPUC would not object to that money being used.
I'm glad you brought that up, because March 13th, when we looked at the GenSet recovery or account that was only for GenSets, I noticed a deduction for $125,000, I believe, and we discovered at that point the money was only supposed to be for GenSets, generators. The money was used for paying back net metering customers.
Yeah.
So we objected to that, saying that if you're going to divert from the intent of that account, we asked that CUC ask us, and we'd have no qualms about approving under emergency situation. And I was even waiting for that to be brought up, because that GenSet money, I would have talked with the fellow commissioners that they could be used for getting backup generators for the water at a certain point when it was critical, after FEMA took away the 100. So
I believe CFO Terlaje at one of the previous commission meetings did explain that that money was being used because of the CPUC's order regarding net metering. And it was done pursuant to a board resolution authorizing them to use that money. Because again, we were ordered.
Well, it was apples and oranges. The GenSet money's for GenSets. Net metering money was coming out of CUC's their own account for set up for net metering.
I believe the board adopted a resolution authorizing them to use X dollars of the GenSet money for net metering.
I don't think they had the power to do that. See, we set that up with the cooperation of Mr. Watson, that there be a GenSet account created strictly for the use of gensets. Isn't that correct, Mr. Watson? I don't want to put you in, between you and the board situation, but it was a genset account.
Yes.
Not a genset, et cetera account. You follow? Where the board could step in and say, oh, we could use this for true-up money, we could use this for that. No, we wanted to know, because we had the intention of that money being used to replace a Graco leased engines, to lessen that lease agreement.
We share
amount.
that intent, certainly. We certainly share that intent. I'm a little unclear as to the genesis of the genset account. I know that it was set up. I don't know if that was set up pursuant to an order of the commission or just, hey, this is a good idea. I do.
It was set up in a meeting we had maybe a year ago that we asked, and if needed, we would issue an order. But the management, Mr. Watson, agreed that that would be a feasible idea, and that it came out that they could use the CHC arrears payments to fill that account.
Correct.
Because it was important that we lessen the dependence on the Graco leased engines because they're very expensive. And in the process, we also encouraged, and they did this, which I commend Director Watson, in that they rebuilt up to 14 megawatts within about a year's time. That the new contract for Graco, they cut the number of engines in half. Instead of 12, they reduced the new contract down to only 6. So you see the progress was being made, and I know you're new to it, but
yes, but I believe, and I'm sorry to interrupt, and I apologize for my spotty memory. I'm old and out of shape and doing the best I can, but I think I remember CFO Terlaje informing the commission that the net metering payments were coming out of that account in a public meeting. I could be wrong. I believe so. We can ask her, and if I'm wrong, I'm not representing that's the fact, but that's my understanding that that's what why we're.
Very true statement, but it was news to us when we heard it at that meeting. You follow? There was no email to the chairman at the time asking could we use that money for true-ups. It was just at the meeting we got a printout of the account. And then when I noticed 125 deduction, I asked, where did this go? And then that's when Betty said that we used it to pay a true-up.
Right. So if I'm hearing correctly, the commission would appreciate a more formal request?
That would be appreciated, just
Okay.
an update, heads up. Because again...
So I'm formally asking, can we use that money for restoration?
We're gonna have to take a vote on it because we voted in that meeting.
Yeah, we voted for that, for a purpose. So yeah, if you gave us a request in writing, and then we would entertain it. And I don't see us not declining that request, as long as CUC, and I do trust Mr. Watson, that he'd be faithful to, after the restoration money, that the account would start building up again. Because again, I was waiting for something from, at the time of April, the only communication I received that whole month was from you, Mr. Ernest, about power poles. And I reminded you that there are other avenues, and it is in one of the dockets that CUC can use up to $3.7 million a year to supply their inventory at any time.
I believe the power poles purchase will be well in excess of $3.9 million, and that's just for the poles, not including transformers or the other stuff that gets stuck to the poles. I don't mean to misspeak, but I believe we have to purchase about 1,000 poles, and I believe each pole is about $5,000.
But with 100 you have in inventory and a 300 that $3.7 million allows for, that's 400 poles. That's a pretty good start. And then with the poles at GPA, that goes up to 500. So again,
Yeah, we have to purchase the poles from GPA. They're not gifts.
yeah, I know.
Okay.
Would they be reimbursable by FEMA?
if we get them early, and my understanding is we have to get them within a certain amount of time.
For the 100% rate?
Yes, and so,
Well, the 100 that came over, they were reimbursable, right?
No, we had 100 here, but
How about,
the ones from Guam hasn't arrived yet.
they're due to arrive,
Soon as FEMA can figure the transport.
well, that's that issue with the shipping.
Yeah.
So again,
Question?
yes, Mr. Hammond?
If the money used for restoration efforts would, and this is kind of related to the suggestion, would FEMA be reimbursed those dollars and then they could be restored to the GenSet account?
Yes, that's correct.
So if the CUC requested an authorization, that'd be a good point to make.
Okay.
Could I ask our legal advisor, Mrs. Cyrock, could they make an oral request at this meeting and we take a vote on it? For using the GenSet money for helping them in the restoration?
You certainly could do that. My concern is that the GenSet account was previously used to repay the net metering customers, and that repayment requirement is a legal requirement mandated by CNMI law, not CUC regulation, not commission regulation. So, the question should be for the commission while it's discussing that, I think, is where's the priority? Should you take away that money for other purposes and allow CUC to continue to violate the law, or should priority be given to utilizing that money to comply with the law that they haven't complied with for so many years? But yes, to answer your question, we certainly could take an oral request and then vote on it during the meeting here.
Just for recovery purposes on restoration, Mr. Cyrock? And then
Well, what you're doing then is, I mean, from a legal standpoint, the commission can do whatever it wants, but from a legal standpoint, what you're doing then is you're supporting CUC's continuation of violating a CNMI law. If that's not a concern to the commissioners, then no problem. But as a legal representative, I would not be doing my duty if I didn't suggest that particular issue is out there, and if the commission wants to go ahead and ignore that and allow CUC to violate the law, no problem.
No, I'm not going to ignore the law, Mr. Cyrock. It's just a matter of, you're saying that allowing them to use the GenSet money for purchasing GenSet equipment or things for restoration, that would be a violation of the law? Or are you just talking about the net metering?
No, I'm saying the net metering, to allow them to continue to not pay the net metering customers, allows them to continue to violate the law. Now, if the commission wants to go ahead and take that position, which allows them to do that, then they're so be it.
No, that's not the position. That's not the position I was bringing up. It was.
Couldn't you view those as two separate issues, though?
Yes.
One is the restoration and service. The other one is how to pay for the net metering stuff. It doesn't have to be used from the GenSet. And
What's our balance on the GenSet fund?
the money used for restoration will be restored by FEMA. How long does it take for FEMA to restore those monies, typically?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Cyrock, I think we got a little bit confused. The money out of the GenSet would not be going to net metering payments. It would only be going to, if allowed, and they could be reimbursed by FEMA, to go back into the GenSet account. The net metering is a different issue. And
That's true, and it was originally set up for that GenSet. So, yes, then when you look at it in that respect, yes, you certainly can go ahead and divert those monies to remediation efforts during the emergency. But I was only indicating that if the commission allowed CUC to utilize that money for net metering,
No, that was
and
not,
they were going
yeah,
to use it,
that's a big,
if it should never have been used, then no problem. But that distinction should be made, and I agree with Mr. Hellman that, it's two distinct issues. So perhaps the issue then should be to determine whether or not that could also be used for net metering as well.
Yeah, the net metering issue, I fully agree that we're not going to do something that goes contrary to the law. CUC was mandated to pay that, and we're not going to go against that type of, legal position.
Statement to the effect that in any commission decision on approving it, that the commission is not by this decision ordering any delay in the net metering payments, and just leave it up to the CUC as to how they handle it.
May I provide a quick update? I recall that yesterday at the CUC Board of Directors meeting, that CFO Betty Terlahi updated that CUC continues to work on the net metering credit repayments. And I believe she said there's another batch of checks going out today, or not today, this week, sometime this week, maybe today. There's another batch of checks going out today to pay out those net metering clients who had credits on their account.
Is any of that money coming out of the GenSet account?
Well, so just to clarify, the net metering GenSet account is
There's no net metering
oh, sorry,
GenSet account.
the GenSet reserve account. I misnamed it. So CHCC repays CUC roughly about $150,000 per month, and CHCC's payment gets deposited into the GenSet reserve account. That's what
The CHC.
Yeah, the CHCC payments.
Right.
So every month, $150,000 from CHCC gets deposited into CUC's GenSet reserve account, and it was like that. It was going like that month to month up until the commission ordered CPUC to start immediately and aggressively repaying back the money that they owed to their net metering clients who had credit on their account. And I believe that's when CFO Terlahi asked the board if out of that $150,000 every month from CHCC, if they could just take a sliver of it, if they could just take $25,000 of it, so that they would have cash on hand to repay those net metering clients in accordance with the law that Mr. Cyrock was mentioning. There's a finite number of net metering clients who need to be repaid. I believe 50% of them have already been fully repaid, and CFO and her team continue to work on doing the true ups and making sure that now the remaining 50% get paid. So this this thing that CUC is doing, where every month it just takes a sliver out of the CHCC $150,000 just to make sure there's cash on hand for
How big is that sliver?
It's $25,000 that gets rerouted to make sure there's cash on hand to pay back the net metering clients. But the remainder of the $150,000, so $125,000, still gets deposited into.
She brought this up to the board and not to us, right?
I would have to check the minutes, but I believe CFO Terlahi spoke with the board about that at a public board
we were
meeting.
clear about the GenSet when we set it up, that it would be GenSet money,
Yeah, so
not to be touched unless it came to us for a request, and we would entertain it. But
so it's my understanding that when the net metering true ups are completed and all the payments have gone out in the next, I don't know, I guess few months, I can't say for sure. I wish CFO was here, but in the next few months, once 100% of the net metering clients are paid out for the money that they're owed, then CHCC's $150,000 payment every month then the full $150,000 amount would just be deposited every month back into the genset account. So this is a temporary thing. This thing where CUC's borrowing a sliver of the CHCC $150,000 every month.
To be paid back later to the genset account.
I don't know if that was contemplated in the discussion with the board of directors.
What about the CPUC? The board of directors didn't create the genset account.
Sir, all I know is what I think I remember from CFO Terlaje saying to the board, which the board was here too. I remember her telling the commission that we were making these payments out of that account. I don't think there was any objection from the commission at the time.
It was never brought to us.
So if I could maybe rectify that now, CUC officially requests that the commission authorize CUC to use money in the generator reserve account to pay net metering payments and to aid in the recovery efforts on the condition that if the money is used on recovery efforts is restored by FEMA, the money will go back into the genset account.
I'm only agreeing, and I'll have to ask the other commissioners, that the money only be used for recovery, not for genset repayments.
Not for net metering.
Net metering, excuse me.
I'm sorry, are you saying you want it to be used on net metering or not used on net metering? Because I thought you just 3 minutes ago asked us to formally request you to...
About the recovery, don't put words in my mouth again. I mentioned, I think Ms. Steen's the one that, could we use the money for recovery? And I said we were entertaining that. We didn't know the typhoon was coming, but when it did hit, I was ready to respond if there was a request. But I didn't hear anything, so, but when I came back, I was gonna ask if the director could use that for like the water generation backups and other matters. And I was gonna ask the commission to consider it as a fix during this rough time. But the net metering is a whole different issue.
So I apologize for being confused. Was there a formal order of the commission that stated that the genset reserve money could only be used for gensets?
There was a...
Because if not, it's just CUC's money, and then we're spending money that's ours that is less than the contract review protocol of $350,000. Again, this is just my understanding, and I'm new, and if I'm wrong, please correct me, but it would be very helpful if I could see that order, and then I'll happily do a formal written
Mr.
request.
Cyrock, do you have any comment on that?
Well, I think Mr. Ernest wasn't on staff when that genset account was created.
Correct.
The history of it, just a short history of it, was CUC came to the commission requesting us to renew the Agreco contract for generators. And during the discussion of that, approving that procurement,
Wasn't that a ratification though, at that time, Mr. Cyrock?
pardon?
Wasn't that when we ratified that always signed the Graco account? So we went ahead and
No,
ratified?
I don't think the Agreco account had already been signed. They came to us for the extension, and that's the time when we said, look at, I think it was supposed to be like a 5-year contract, and I think we limited it. Ms. Tina would know that. I don't have my notes in front of me for that, but those notes are back on Saipan. But that account was created during discussion on the Agreco contract, and the discussion was that why are we doing this? Why can't we set up a genset account so that we could start eliminating one by one the need for Agreco generators, and CUC could simply buy one so that every time it renewed the contract or created a new contract, it wouldn't be for 12, for example, it would be for 8 or for 6 or whatever. So, and at that time, during that discussion, which the commission voted on, based on a motion during a meeting, it was clear that that genset account was to be used only for creating a fund which would allow for the purchase of generators to replace Agreco generators, not generators for the power plant, big generators, but the ones that would be Agreco-sized generators, so that even if it was not needed after the power plant became fully operational, at least they would be sitting there available for CUC's use during times like this, during an emergency or during a time when the power plant was had problems or whatever, so that they wouldn't have to go out and lease Agreco generators, which was very, very expensive, more expensive than purchasing a generator on its own. So the short answer is that's the history of it. During that motion, it was clear that that account was supposed to be used only for the purchase of generators. No written order was made. We do a lot of motions where the minutes show that a motion was made and passed, but formal written orders, there was never a formal written order on that to satisfy Mr. Ernest's question on whether a written order was, but it was a decision made by the commission, and technically it was an order of the commission, even though it's not in written form.
So, without an order, and at the time I believe CUC agreed with the concept of this genset account, let's go back to the comment from Mr. Ernest. The board then could do whatever they want with that money.
Mr. Chairman, if I may interject for a minute.
Sure.
To go along with Mr. Ernest's request, certainly the commission now can look at that and make a determination to allow CUC to utilize that money for remedial efforts to restore the grid, or however they want. It's up to the commission, but because the commission created it and identified the use of it, it certainly can, by a further commission meeting and decisions, determine a secondary use of that money as well.
Acting Chairman?
Yes.
I believe I have a helpful clarification.
Okay.
So I agree with Attorney Cyrock's characterization of how the genset account, genset reserve account came into being. It came from a conditional approval by the CPUC of the Agreco contract, and that was conditionally approved on May 15th, 2025. And I remember, because I was there back then, not Mr. Ernest, but I was there, I remember that the board said, okay, well, we will conditionally approve of you re-entering into a contract with Agreco, but so that we don't become so reliant on Agreco, we would like you to create an account, and every month we'd like you to put some amount of money towards that account, so that you can eventually buy your own generators and let go of this Agreco rental one day. Even if it's just, one by one, instead of renting 12 generators from them, you rent 6 generators from them next year. So that we can all agree upon. The commission did not tell CUC where the money had to come from, just create the account, fund it. And so it was CUC in discussions with the board, it was management, CFO Terlahi, and the board of directors, when they were discussing, okay, how do we start funding this reserve account? Actually, I believe it was CFO Terlahi's, or it was management's idea. Oh, I know, CHCC is finally starting to actually make its monthly payments. For a while, like for a good year, they just were not paying what they owed CUC. But that was around the time when CHCC started reliably paying every month again, because CUC got a new MOU with CHCC. So Ms. Terlahi, I think, suggested to the board, well, this is great. Why don't we just, whenever CHCC sends their payment, we'll just deposit that into the genset reserve account, and that's how we'll fund it. And so that's what CUC was doing, and when the commission ordered CUC to start doing the net metering true-ups, Ms. Terlahi was concerned, well, where are we going to get this cash on hand to start paying back the net metering clients? And then so, again, in discussion with the board, that's when Ms. Terlahi asked the board, oh, would it be okay if we just took a little bit of, like, before the CHCC money gets deposited into the Genset account, would it be okay if we took out a sliver of that and use that towards the net metering true-ups and payments? So actually, CUC continues to comply with the CPUC order that every month some amount of money, and CPUC never said from where, but that every month CUC deposits some amount of money into the reserve account, the Genset reserve account, to not be touched and to only be used to purchase new generators, so that we're not so reliant on a Greco. And so I believe what the board and Ms. Terlahi agreed to is still compliant with the CPUC order. There's no money being taken out of the reserve account. What's actually happening is when the CHCC check for $150,000 comes into CUC, then CUC has taken a sliver of that for the net metering true-ups, and then the remainder of that check from CHCC then gets fully deposited into the account.
I agree with that reasoning. I have no problem with that because, again,
so there's actually nothing being taken out of the Genset reserve account.
Well, it's just a matter of when I got that printout, I saw $125,000 deducted, and I asked where did that go, and then when it just came out that net metering, I went, and we had set it up for the Genset and agreed that the money comes from CUC whenever they can provide money for that Genset. And if they're under another stressful situation with net metering, I can agree with taking a sliver out and that in good faith you would replenish it later when this net metering finished up or...
I think what I'm trying to clarify is that the sliver is not getting taken out of the net metering reserve account. So before, the Genset reserve account.
Right. No, I agree.
Nothing gets taken out of the Genset account.
I get a summary report of the Genset account.
Yes, and so that report.
It has on there.
Yeah.
It should have, instead of a deposit of 150.
It should have just said a deposit of 125 for that month.
Yes. And then I would have said, oh, I see now. Another 25 was used. Then I would ask, and they said, well, we needed it for this.
I see now.
Because it showed like...
Yeah, it made it look like there was money being pulled. And that's not my... And again, I wish CFO was here. But my understanding of it is just that once the CHCC big check for $150,000 arrives at CFO's desk, she uses $25,000 of that to make sure that she can comply with the law and give these
the objective
net metering
is
clients their money
have
back.
A reserve, but also you had to take care of a situation by law to pay these net metering customers. So again, we're not going to bend the law or anything. I just had a question about the amount that would be used now in that current account we would direct it to helping with the restoration efforts.
Yes,
and if they made another payment, CHC, and you wanted to take another sliver, fine, and then the remainder goes into that Genset account, correct?
Yes. Correct. That's how it's been. Yes.
So, but again, on the recovery effort, Mr. Watson, is there an amount of money that you could use out of that Genset account that would help the restoration?
Any amount would be helpful, but an exact number we don't have, and we don't want to pull it from that account at this time. Just to know that it would be available. So if you want to set a limit.
Well, you believe in the reasoning why we set that, created that account, and you have. That's the main thing. And again, I'll let the commissioners, Commissioner Mendiola, what's your feeling on the money that's in this account, and if they needed some, go ahead and utilize it.
my perspective, one, we didn't set a clear amount of what needs to be deposited into the genset account. So that makes sense that you would, just make your judgment in terms of cash availability and see how you can fund the cash genset account. In terms of drawing from it, I mean, if the need is dire, right, and you need to manage cash and to fulfill certain obligations, obviously you can use it. I'm not saying cash management, you can't create cash out of nothing. So if you don't have cash and you can't do anything in terms of repairs and restoration, then yeah, I mean, I'm all for using it. The issue though is that we don't forget about the purpose of it and what we created from it. And if there is a chance for funds from FEMA to replenish that account, then that would be the obvious choice to make.
So there's a good possibility FEMA would reimburse.
Yes.
Commissioner Camacho, your feelings on it?
Yeah, I also definitely support having a condition in there that money be replenished into the genset account, given this is going to be for recovery purposes. So
Immediate need.
Yeah.
Commissioner Kidagwa,
Yeah.
are you comments on the we helping with the immediate needs using that genset account of recovery only?
I have not seen the actuality of the request, but we're talking about genset and net metering. I'm trying to figure out if CUC had made any discussion and approval for net metering of that amount. I would say that the gensets also need to be made. I believe I'm contemplating whichever or whoever the board had made during their last meeting, if they have done any approval for net metering, why not? And also the gensets, I'm still a little bit reserved on that, because whatever has been made or funded with from that account, that would have sufficed to go on, and whatever decision shall be made. And it's already done. What was done was done. So I'm looking forward to either net metering or the genset. I'm a little bit reserved on that one.
But you would support using some amount of money of the genset account to help the current situation with recovery, correct?
Yes, for recovery, yes.
And the net
I have
metering,
no doubt
the
that
net
in
metering is a different subject to be handled
Yes.
separately. How much is in the account currently?
That's a good question now.
I have in my notes that as of March 13th, the amount in the genset reserve account was $800,000 as of March 13th. I believe that number should be different today. We were waiting for CFO Terlahi to report back, but unfortunately she
There
must
was a
be
payment made.
she must be tied up right now.
Yeah.
Payment made of 150, about
she's in a meeting
25
with
was
FEMA.
slivered off, which is going to another priority. So maybe 925 currently.
All I can confidently say is that as of March 13th, there was $800,000 in the account. And I don't want to give incorrect information, so I would love to wait for CFO Terlahi to report the
Well, I
correct
would,
number when she becomes available.
I would move that we allow CUC to use 800,000 only for the recovery and helping the restoration of the islands, both Saipan and Tinian.
Yeah, Betty.
And
Yeah. Do you have the number?
You want to say anything about the money being restored after FEMA reimburses?
yes,
We'll have that condition.
yes.
Okay. So 910,000. Okay. Oh, we're in it. I'm not sure how you tried to dial in. Betty's trying to dial in, but she said nobody was on the call.
May I put my IT hat on?
Okay.
CFO's been
Tita's
trying
done
to
help,
dial in,
help them.
and I think she needs your approval to get in.
Are you still trying to get in?
She didn't get an invite?
The participant.
Well, we should give her the link, that's all
I
right.
believe she has the link.
I sent it out to her.
Oh.
And they're on Zoom. Zoom Workplace.
Does Betty have the link? Can she try again?
Can you
I
try
don't see
again?
her request.
But
There's
her,
no request
on the
pending.
email, it's got Teams, and you're on Zoom.
Gosh. Well, we just needed the number from her, and we got the number now, so
Okay.
I think it's
But
okay.
We'll probably be okay, because that's the number we needed. And then if something else comes up, I'll call you. Oh, 950, 950?
Oh, good. Yeah.
Going up.
Okay,
950.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, okay.
So if it's at 950.
And now we're putting how much?
Stay even.
Okay, 125. Okay. Okay.
No,
Okay.
just this one time. And then they can come back to us. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah.
So this is what going until the net metering is paid in
Yes.
full.
So
This is-
as of today, there's $950,000 in the GenSet reserve account. And again, I want to emphasize that the commission never told CUC how it should fund the account, and it was CUC's own internal decision that it would make sense to just start
No, we already realized.
plugging in the CUC check. So I actually don't think CUC is out of compliance with any commission order. I
I've
think-
already agreed with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I keep repeating it.
Okay. Great. Well, just because it was just because Commissioner Kitagwa made a comment earlier that So I think so the current amount is $950,000, and if the commission would like to support CUC's recovery efforts, it would be really helpful if the commission could give
So-
CUC permission to access any amount of that strictly for the purpose of recovery.
I would then reword the motion that this would be a one-time amount of 900,000 of the 950 to go only to the recovery efforts, and that the CUC has made a promise that it would be replenished by the FEMA. And that after CHC made another payment next month and the account started climbing again, CUC could come back to us if they have further emergency or some situation having to do with the restoration. But the amount today would be just that 900, and to be subject to the replenishing of that money by the FEMA agency. Does that sound agreeable as a motion to CUC?
Yes, sir.
Now, the commissioners, anybody want to make comments or change that motion?
No. The motion, but just to make sure we emphasize, we've been looking at CUC's numbers and figures for a while now, and it's essentially a cash bracket. And FEMA coming in and replenishing cash, are we setting some kind of guarantee for this replenishment? Because I can foresee, right, that this crunch for fuel costs and all of that stuff is going to continue for a few months, and you're going to be needing cash on hand. And that's a guarantee. The priority of replenishing genset versus making sure people get paid or fuel gets paid for, we're going to trust CUC in figuring that out, right? So I'm just making sure that everybody realizes that the cash vacuum exists. It's going to exist for a few more months at least, right? So there's no guarantee that the FEMA money is going to come in and it's going to get replenished. If we're comfortable with living with that and making sure that, or just giving the trust to CUC to do what's right in that cash crunch, then I'm for it, right? It definitely can use the cash. That's not a problem on my side. It's just I want to make sure we set realistic expectations on this. I don't expect FEMA money to come in and you replenish the genset. I think there's going to be cause later for you to use the cash in some other way.
And may I correct the record, because I don't like to misrepresent anything to the commission. It is $925,000, and that's my final answer. $925,000.
That was my first guess.
Currently in the genset reserve account.
Because I minus the 25 sliver.
Exactly. I forgot to take the sliver out. That's the true current amount, 925.
What are the odds that FEMA would not replenish this money, Mr. Watson? You think that it could be not replenished by FEMA?
Well, we're still recovering from YouTube. From FEMA. So,
reimbursements?
Yes.
So
it takes a while. So there's no guarantee of what FEMA will not. We're going to do our best efforts to get reimbursed the maximum amount that we can.
But from your own experience and knowledge, it is eligible for reimbursement.
Yes. The FEMA determines what that eligibility is, and we have to file the proper documentation and paperwork.
FEMA has been working directly with CUC, and FEMA personnel have been in CUC office. I think Betty Terlahi is currently in a FEMA meeting at the CUC headquarters. So they are working hand in hand to ensure to the highest extent possible that CUC's recovery efforts can and will be reimbursed, and that includes legal counsel making sure that all the FEMA compliant contractual language is in every single contract. So everyone's working together and working very hard to try to assure as best we can that
and the
these
power
expenses
plant,
will be reimbursed.
yeah, and the power plant and feeder systems, they have been upgraded through the assistance of FEMA already, correct?
The what?
The power plant, supplies, poles, the system itself has already benefited from the FEMA assistance, correct?
Yes, in both the recovery from previous typhoons and mitigation efforts.
And for me, the bottom line is getting people back to a normalcy as soon as possible. And this 900,000, if it helps in any way, I feel okay with it. And the payment down the road, I'm not going to mark a calendar and exact date. I just know I have trust in you, Mr. Watson, that you would do your best to get it, and it will come eventually.
Yes.
And besides that, the CHC payments would be still coming in.
Yes.
Exactly.
And minus a sliver only to this one net metering, right?
Once the net metering is all paid out, the full $150,000 should be going into the reserve account.
So, Commissioner Mendiola, are you okay with that?
Oh, absolutely. I've never argued against the use of it. I'm just saying we need to set realistic expectations of what that.
Sure, I understand. It's a valid, Mr. Camacho?
Yeah.
Commissioner Kittigwa, are you okay?
Yes, okay.
Okay, I made the motion, and is the motion clear for the commissioners about the payment going to CEC to help ameliorate, help the recovery and restoration with the condition of it being replenished by the FEMA agency at a later date?
Yes.
Anybody second that?
I'll second.
Okay.
Votes?
Yes.
Yes.
Ungan?
Yes.
Okay, unanimous. So again, if, Madam Tina, would you just give us something in writing, what this transaction, how it came about, and have you and Mr. Watson sign it?
Yes, sir. I could draft, if you wanted to, I could draft a proposed order that reflects what was discussed today with regard to the
And you could s-
temporary usage of the funds in the Genset Reserve account.
And you could send it to Mr. Cyrock
Okay.
for his review?
Would you like me to start sending
Everything,
my
oh, yes.
petitions and things to Attorney Cyrock?
Yeah, before I forget, all filings, messages, communications to the CPUC and to acting chairman and any commissioner, please CC Mr. Cyrock.
Okay, will do, sir.
Noted.
So,
Can you do a meeting, please?
Yeah, and I believe, been noticing, could you please, all these filings and everything be also sent to Mr. Hellman? Because eventually he has to look at them, and we just save him, we want to keep everybody in the loop.
okay, will do, acting chairman.
Whatever point, at least this happens in my previous occupation, and Sarah can correct me. But what, my experience is when a commission takes this and approves a motion like this, then the action's been done. What Tina's doing in drafting an order is memorializing the decision that's taken place.
Yes.
And I don't want to usurp any role of your attorney, and so when I offered to draft the proposed order, I don't need to step on Attorney Cyrock's toes. If you wanted to, you could have your own attorney draft a proposed order, but I'm also happy to do that if that's what you prefer.
Mr. Cyrock, you want to accept Tina's draft?
That would be wonderful. I have no problem with Ms. Snow drafting the proposed order, and it should be a proposed order, not a memorandum. You know, normally Mr. Kittigwa would know because he's been on the commission in the past, but normally all of these kinds of things went through a hearing examiner, and hearing officer, which we have one, but we're not using that hearing officer as an adjudicator. In the past, he was also an adjudicator, but we're not using our current one as an adjudicator, only as an administrator. So when that occurred, he would also issue an order, which then was signed by all the commissioners. So I think it would be appropriate, especially in light of Mr. Ernest's query as to whether a prior order had been issued. I think we should have a practice that these motions should be confirmed by an order and not by simply a memorandum necessarily. The minutes should identify that as a motion and passed, and that would be the memorandum side of it. But going back to the original question, Ms. Snow is very well qualified to prepare proposed orders, and yeah, I can run them past me. I can then finalize it and send it off to you, Mr. Chairman, for your signature, or if you want all the commissioners to sign it, But I really enjoy the fact that Ms. Mo has offered to do that, and thank you, Ms. Mo.
Thank you, Mr. Cyrock.
Okay, what's the time? Would anybody, where'd my agenda fly? Somebody stole my agenda. Oh. Get my glasses fixed. Okay, Mr. Watson, I feel good about that transaction between, I know that you'd use that money for whatever you prioritize it and to help people get back to normal. just a side note, I have people I've worked at the hospital I know, and it's disturbing that I heard that more than the usual number of elderly people are passing away, and part of it's due to the deep depression and giving up, after this third super typhoon. So the sooner we give, the community hope, I think it's going to help a lot of people, especially the Monomco that depend on certain devices at home, and they're always scared. I'm feeling for the first time, I still feel pretty good, but I'm turning 80 this year, and the fact that I know my body's not like when I was 20, and I'm getting these body heat rashes and all kinds of weird things, and it's making it a little bit uncomfortable, but I still eat my Wheaties, so I think I can pull on through. But again, I know you're doing your best, and this money that we give you, I give it for me personally, in part for the Monomco here, both here and Tinian, that we get back to a normal situation with the power, the basic comforts of living. So again, that being said, we've gone over the genset conditions. It sounds progressing well. The water, wastewater is basically okay, right, Mr. Watson? I see the generators operating, and
yeah, there was some damage to the wastewater plants that we've, done a cost estimate and presented to FEMA for the next phase of mitigation of repair work. And temporarily, we had a FEMA provided generator at Satatossi wastewater plant. Since then, we are been re-energized to the grid, and they have been able to repurpose that generator to another purpose on the island.
okay, sounds good. Thank you, Mr. Watson. Let's move on to this next item, and after that, I think we'll take a short lunch break, meeting. The next one is pretty, I think it's already the update on the Graco contract. That was set to be renewed in June, or about this time of the year,
Yeah.
and it's going to be that
I believe it's May 1st. Or no, it was June 1st.
I can check
Okay.
so we don't have any questions.
But it stays,
That will be P03 2026. P03 2026. I'm pulling it up. Procurement filing P-03-2026. That was change order number 1, which reduced the engines rented from 12 to 6.
12 to 6.
From 12 to 6, and let's see, when does that start? I have to look at the petition itself. Let me open the petition. That would begin on June 1st. That's
And I believe
upcoming.
in March 13th, we agreed with that changing from 12 to 6, which was good news in reducing the number of.
That is correct. That was approved unanimously by the commission on March 13th.
Right. So there's no changes to that, and
I believe as of June 1st, it should go from 12 down to 6.
you believe, or it's guaranteed?
Well, the contract says that starting on June 1st, CUC will start renting only 6 generators from the Greco instead of 12.
Was there, did CUC need a Graco some more generators during the recovery, or was that's a separate issue?
Well, that's a good question. Kevin, during your recovery process, are you actually feeling now that you need all 12 rental generators from Agreco, or can CUC keep getting
We-
by fine with six rental
We
generators?
may need more, and however, we put that request to the GAR and FEMA, so that study is still ongoing. We may need 4 to 6 of the generators, just as a backup in case one of our large generators go down. Otherwise, we'll be able to meet the demand.
So
But,
the contract that we approved in March will stay the same.
yeah,
This is a separate issue with FEMA and them
yes,
tossing a few 4 to 6 megs.
yeah.
Okay. All right, then covers number 7. Any comments from the commissioners on the Agreco that we have already approved, and there seems to be no changes? Bruce?
How many megawatts would you lose from Greco, and how much can be replaced?
We will have 6 that we're maintaining. The current contract will begin June 1st.
So we'd go from 12 megawatts of Agreco to 6 megawatts of
6.
Agreco.
And then can you are you gonna replace that need with, or can you guys go on with 6 less megawatts?
Yes,
Yeah, because they replaced almost 12 to 14 by rebuilding and a new concrete pad, correct, Mr.
Yeah.
Watson? Yeah, they've already done their due diligence. We asked them to repair and approve the concrete pad.
yep,
So
and
that's moving along.
that's done.
Okay, that covers number 7. Any comments from any of the commissioners up to this point, or Mr. Hellman or Mr. Cyrock? If not, then we would take how long you need for lunch, Mr. Watson? And
I actually have another meeting I have to go to.
at what time?
I have to be at the governor's conference room at 2 o'clock.
Well, it's just the governor, right? You can have him reschedule. No. So what time? 2 o'clock?
Yeah, so I have to leave here at least by 1 or 1:30.
Then I think we need
Should
to
we keep going then?
Keep going.
keep going.
Yeah,
Then we'll keep going because we have a few other topics that need to be discussed that are important other than the recovery. So we'll try to move these along. Update on the Greco we completed. Solar project update and status of contract and PPA. Ms. Tina?
Yes, sir. My update for the commission is that there is no update. There really hasn't been any forward movement. Once the typhoon hit, this project regrettably had to be put on the back burner as CUC focuses on its recovery efforts. So there is no power purchase agreement yet. The
No
project is still in pending status.
No contract's been signed?
No, there's no contract. This procurement is technically just status ongoing.
And the concern about the tax credits are basically,
It's a concern. It's definitely a concern, and it would have been amazing to get those, or for the company to get those and then pass on those benefits to.
but they understand
CUC
the
and the-
situation as it stands with the recovery and everything, right?
I believe they've been requesting meetings, and we've had to tell them, hey, we're focused on recovery efforts right now.
Okay, so that's the status. It's
Yeah.
pending and
No forward movement.
you'd give us a heads up.
Of course. We would not enter into a power purchase agreement contract without CPUC's prior approval first.
Or contract.
Yes. So that would come before you all as a petition for approval of, a power purchase agreement that currently doesn't exist.
Including our friends in the States, Mr. Cyrock and Mr. Hellman. Okay. All right, so that covers that.
Mr. Chairman?
Okay, go ahead.
Chairman, if I may?
Sure, Mr. Cyrock.
I'd like to suggest that CUC provide, once they finish their negotiations with the contractor, that they provide us reasonable notice, because reviewing that power purchase agreement is not a 1 or 2 or 3 day review. It takes some time to look at that and perhaps may require even some modifications by us as a commission. So sending it to us, you know, and asking us to deal with it within a week or so would be very, very difficult for us. So please give us notice. Under our regulations, they're supposed to give us 40 days notice, but I'm not concerned about 40 days, but I would like at least 2 weeks notice to allow both I and Mr. Hellman to review the power purchase agreement and any other contract that supplements that power purchase agreement.
Yes, sir, that is understood, and that is completely reasonable. The CUC is worried that we're coming up on that tax credit deadline, but the reality is that the recovery is much more important, and getting people here back to normal is much, much more important.
Sure.
And just to make sure I understand, so any kind of delay past what point actually? When did the tax credits requirements expire? Is it June?
July.
July?
It was July
Let
1st.
me not July 1st.
July
Hold on. Let me just get that exact date so that we're not guessing.
I think the requirement is you have to have stuff built into the ground. You actually have to start doing some construction, right?
Yes, that's
Correct.
right.
That's correct.
Not just executing.
That is correct. Let's see.
So take the solar panel and stick it in the ground.
July 4th, 2026. Kevin was totally right. July 4th, 2026. Construction has to start before July 4th, 2026 to be eligible for the 30% ITC, the investment tax credit.
If you miss that eligibility timeline, I would expect that this is essentially dead in the water. I don't think any company would.
Not necessarily, because there's another date that construction can be completed by and still be eligible.
Yes, I have that. I can give you that date if you'd like. So if construction does not start by July 4th, 2026, there's still a way to try to get the 30% investment tax credits, and that is if all construction is completed by December 31st, 2027. So the power plants are fully constructed and they're selling power to CUC by December 31st, 2027. So that is a
18
very
months.
aggressive construction timeline. I don't, and that's something that certainly would be discussed with the awardee.
Yeah, well, from the perspective of an awardee, you're pushing a timeline just to qualify for that tax credit. And, you know, taking on that risk, I would assume that they would demand some kind of premium to offset that risk, right? So I would think that there would be a change in terms of their pricing, which is a little bit unfortunate, right? Because, and I'm not going to make it a secret that I'm a proponent, right? Despite others from the audience that are proponents of solar energy, but CNMI really needs to diversify some of their power generation grid, right? So to withstand some of these issues that we even we get as Typhoon Alley. It's too bad. I get that we need to review contracts and things of that nature, and I get that our lawyer and our consultant are well versed in reviewing these things, but I'm just always worried that we double up on these reviews and then miss out on opportunities for us to actually become efficient in certain ways, right? And while I agree contracts need to be looked at closely, I would assume these contracts are prepared by well-qualified engineers and people of that nature, right? So I personally don't think I can offer any kind of input into reviewing that. I would assume our legal counselor and our economic consultant will be able to do that. So it's just, again, I'm sorry. I think I'm just expressing my disappointment that we're putting this in so close into the, the zone of dead in the water that you can't even diversify some of